Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Fort Worth Roots. You can find Fort Worth Roots on all of your favorite streaming services, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and a couple dozen other. We're also on YouTube. There's videos associated with these episodes. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. Our email is media@fortworthroots.com, and our website is Fort Worth Roots. It's a lot of Fort Worth Roots things going on. It's repetitive, but it's easy to remember. Thank you guys for joining us today. We do these episodes out at McFly's every Tuesday from 5 to 7. We've got a live audience in front of us. We have a wireless mic that goes around the room so that you guys can be part of the fun. We provide you guys with pizza, and we give away Billy Bob's tickets. In this episode, we actually gave away 3 sets of Billy Bob's tickets. Extra reasons to come out and see us. It's a community that we've built out there over the past few months. I think we started this out in January. And it's been awesome, the response that we've gotten from it. We want you to come join us. We want you to come hang out. It's from 5 to 7, so it's early enough that it's not going to complicate your evening. We can still get to bed at a decent hour, so, and me too, even after breaking down and driving all the way home. So I'm here for that. Today's guest was somebody that was suggested to me. He's a CEO of a local business, and I didn't know anything about him or his company, but the guys that were wanting to do this seemed like a fun group. So I said, let's do it. And I'm glad we did. It amazes me whenever I find out new stuff about Fort Worth. It shouldn't, but I've been doing this for 5 years. And you would think by now I'd have a pretty good handle on this. Well, here's something I didn't know about. And I think you're going to be excited to hear about this because we all have to have an energy provider. And we found somebody that seems to have some pretty good core values, and they're local. They're Fort Worth based. They've got 125 employees, which means 125 families that they're taking care of every time you select them as a service provider. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I'm telling you right now, I was pretty excited to meet these guys and hear their story and their mission and their goal. And I'm no fan of the other energy companies, so now I've got one that I like. That's kind of my takeaway from this episode. But we're looking to have our today's guest back on the show at some point. I think that'd be great. There's a good group of folks, and we'll have another good group of folks, and maybe the same people that were with us this past Tuesday are coming out next Tuesday. We've got Darren Houck, the mayor of River Oaks, with us out at McFly's next Tuesday, 5 o'clock, and that's going to be another fun episode. So our guest today, you can find his company, Payless Power, online at paylesspower.com. And it's by the same name on Instagram, I believe, and Facebook and TikTok maybe as well. So anyway, that's enough talking out of me. Thank you guys for being here. And if you would, please check out our website and hit that trusted sponsors tab. Go to fortworthroots.com and find ways to keep Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets. Give it up for our new friend, CEO of Payless Power, Mr. Brandon Young. And let's start the show. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Fort Worth Roots. We are back for our Tuesday night at McFly's Pub. We've got a special guest tonight, Brandon Young. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We've got... Oh. I said get loud. Get louder. Come on. The mic was pointed the wrong way. I did not like that. All right. Man, you got a good group of folks out here. You're not an unpopular guy.
On a Tuesday is pretty good, I think.
So, Brandon, we were talking to, I want to make sure I don't mess up his name. I've got to look it up. It's right here. Johan. Did I say it right? Yeah. Okay, excellent. I was like, I'm going to say it wrong. And he's enamored by you. I think he might actually have a cardboard cutout of you in his garage at least.
That actually wouldn't shock me. Yeah. Weirdly. He's also my brother-in-law, so that would be shocking to most, right. Probably. A little creepy.
So we were, chatting up here I think it was last Tuesday night, wasn't it? And he was like, I know somebody that'd be great for your show. And so here we are.
Here we
are at McFly's Tuesday night. We got hot pizza for everybody and an audience microphone, and we're giving away Billy Bob's tickets. It's a whole party. So why do you think that your brother-in-law signed you up for this?
If I had to guess, just to tell a story.
Okay.
I'm a good storyteller.
Good. Well, we always start the story with what's your relation to Fort Worth? Are you born and raised and just always been here?
So I am born and raised. My family, we grew up on the east side of Fort Worth until I was about 7 years old. And my grandfather and his brothers started a company in Fort Worth called Samsill Plastics. It's up on Business 287.
Did you say Samson?
Samsill.
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 Okay.
And so they kind of had the entrepreneurial spirit and settled here after living in California. And so growing up in Fort Worth just my whole life, my grandfather built a church over in Fort Worth. He started a charity. And so we still work with that charity today. That's Christ Haven for Children, and it's out in Keller. And so they're an orphanage for kids that need to be taken care of and raised right and sent out into the world to be successful.
That's excellent. So we've done a lot of work with quite a few 501Cs that are dedicated to either protecting the children that are in foster care or finding them placement. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of the direction that you go with that charity? Yeah,
these are generally kids that, maybe their mother or father or both got in trouble and they're being raised by, let's say, a grandmother, and they're just too much to handle for the grandmother. And so instead of giving them up to strangers, they give them up to these guys, and they live in cottages. And so as they age up a bit, they learn skills. They're taught, to a walk with Christ, and just generally given a lot of tools to succeed all the way up until the point where they're in high school and they starting to get in that college age, and they start to live in their own cottage, and they start to learn what it's like to have to wash their own clothes, do their own folding, and prepare their food, and just generally be adults so that they don't go out and into a world they're unprepared for. So It's a very cool place.
Just under that singular charity group?
Yeah. So it's it's a pretty good size.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Just to kind of help us understand the scope of it, how many children do you think at any one given time are under the care of that organization?
That's a great question. I wish I knew that answer.
Give us kind of a rough idea.
I want to say they have about 10 or 12 cottages now, and each cottage has a husband and wife that's leading the kids, and I want to say it's about 8 kids per cottage. So at any given time, around 100 kids.
Yeah. Wow, man, that's crazy. I've never heard of this. That's excellent. I love it. More people should do this. We're strong advocates for adoption, and in fact, me and Megan are talking about adopting at some point, like real soon, probably. Just because we're at the age where we know we're not going to have any kids of our own, mm-hmm. and we have worked with some organizations like Gladney Center, and I'm a horrible person for not remembering the rest of the names, but Gladney Center for sure. We've had them on the show multiple times. Anyway, all that to say, I think that to give back to the community, there's nothing that you could do that would have a greater impact than helping take one of these kids that are stuck in the foster care system and bringing them into a loving home.
Absolutely.
So that's great that you guys are working on that. How do people find information on that organization?
So Christ Haven for Children is the name of the business. They do have a website. You can also find them through our website at paylesspower.com. And so if you look for the charities we work with on our website, we link to them. But they've been around a long time, and they've got pretty deep roots, and they work with some big organizations. So
that's excellent.
So they do a really good job.
That's great. Yeah, it's always good to hear about organizations like that are actually doing some good. I don't know. There's some 501Cs out there. I'll say it. Red Cross. They take an exorbitant. Is that right? Is that
exorbitant?
Exorbitant amount of the proceeds that are donated to them. And please God, don't get me sued. I'm throwing a number out there. I don't know if it's right, but it's somewhere between like 89% and 98% of every dollar you give that organization goes to quote unquote administrative fees. Mm. So for my money, anytime somebody asks me to donate to a charity, I tell them no, unless it's a local organization that I know about, that I understand how they work, I know the people that operate it, and I feel comfortable giving them my money because these large 501c organizations are just, you don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, so are you donating to a charity? Yeah. Is it a tax write-off? Probably. but I mean, you want it to go to some good use, right?
Right.
And our local charities around Fort Worth, all the ones that I've talked to, man, they're doing the Lord's work, and they need help.
I think it's like anything else, I mean, the news is always bombarded by public companies, and in the reality, 80% of all employment is small business, right? And so people lose track of that because it gets all the attention. The charity world is the same way, Salvation Army, which is a great organization, but Red Cross, as you said, there's questionable administration and things like that.
Allegedly, yep.
Allegedly. We didn't say that for a fact. We just said it might be true.
Might be.
You might want to look into that.
Look it up.
So anytime that you can drive down the street and you can look the people in the eyes and you can see what they're doing and you can talk to the kids, right?
Yeah.
You get to meet them and you get to hear the stories about how their lives were changed and, make a difference. It's a good thing. So we really love being involved with that.
I remember the thing that I forgot to tell you. There's a statistic, and maybe you've heard this. Maybe somebody can debunk this for me. But apparently, if every church in the United States adopted, or rather got behind one family in their congregation to adopt one child. So every church, effectively, every church in America adopts one child. There would be no need for foster care anymore.
Sounds like a good goal.
I think that's a real number.
We should look that up.
Yeah. Well, there's an entire organization here in Fort Worth that goes around telling churches that exact statistic, and that's like the thing they lead with, and I feel like that's a smart move because that's a pretty powerful number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I kind of off-railed you there. So let's get back to the story.
Yeah.
So you're working with this organization. You get brought down, or you're working with these folks of yours that are now establishing a business here in Fort Worth.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's more of the roots of like how entrepreneurial our family was and where it came from. My specific family, my mother and father went through hard times, and our grandfather believed that everybody had to pull their own weight. For God's sake, he was one of 21 brothers and sisters.
What?
Yeah, it's insane.
Same wife?
No, it was two women. The first one passed away. Hey, but you know what, though? My grandfather had game.
Did she pass away giving birth?
Probably. I wish
Jesus,
I knew.
Man. That's wild.
He had like 13
21?
kids and got some, like sub-20-year-old girl to marry him so they could keep operating the farm. I mean, that guy's got game.
That's pretty wild.
That's pretty wild. So we got a huge family, all around here in California, and, we got to watch those two guys and probably learned a lot from them.
So you're saying you got game?
He got game. Dude has game.
Did it transmit to you?
I think I do all right.
Yeah? Good.
I got a pretty hot wife.
That's good to hear. Sorry she couldn't be here.
Yeah, she wanted to be here, but Tuesday night's tough
Duties.
with kids and stuff.
Tuesday is rough, and that's why we do it between 5 and 7. And some people are like, man, it should be later because I got work. And then other people are like, man, it should be earlier because I want to go to sleep. But I just turned 40.
Yeah.
And 5 to 7 seems like the sweet spot on a Tuesday.
Hey, 5 to 7, 40. I think that's a math equation that goes together.
Yeah, 100%. So let's bring it around to how you got involved with your business.
Yeah, so I'm one of 3 brothers. I've got 2 older brothers. My oldest 2 brothers were about 13 months apart, and my middle brother was just an entrepreneurial kid from like the moment he could sell little Debbie snacks out of his window. I mean, we had the first Nintendo on the block. He built like a wooden, like you can imagine an arcade system, right? And he's got the controllers like nailed down, the old Nintendo controllers, and he could put 25 cents in. So he was just always thinking about money. And
That's
here I
so
come a little
funny.
later, and I'm watching him. And like I said, my mom and dad went through tough times, and so when you go through tough times, you think about money, right?
Yeah,
You want to be successful, and so I had the good fortune of starting to work with my brother at 15 years old. The first business he started was a paging company, and he taught me how to repair pagers. And so he would bring the pagers home and set a box in front of me, and I'd tinker with them and screw a few of them up and then fix a few. And over time, I got pretty good at it. And so he took me under his wing, and he taught me how to run his stores, and I managed his biggest store.
And this is still in California?
No, this was here.
Okay.
Yeah, always in Texas.
Oh,
he and
okay,
I.
okay.
My grandfather and my mother and father were
That's right.
out in California at different times.
You've been here the whole time.
But I've been here the
Yeah,
whole time. Yeah, so
I'm back.
Welcome back. So,
Fort Worth Roots, what?
and where are we? So anyhow, so he took, like I said, he took me under his roof. I mean, under his wing, and we worked together. And later on, we found out that we three brothers really complement each other. You know, each one of us has strengths the other one doesn't. And so as we started working together, we just did really well. And so as Byron, you know, went into paging, and I started to get out of high school, I'll never forget. I was sitting in Tarrant County College, and I was in an engineering class, and the professor, I said, how much am I going to make when I get out of here? And the dude said, like, 50 grand a year. And I think I closed my book and walked out.
Well, good for you. Yeah. So I try to stifle this a little bit because it's kind of a family tradition, like the college thing for some families. And then for other families, it's like their pride and joy, their youngest, and they're finally getting somebody in their family into college. I get all that. But so anyway, I try to kind of rein it back in whenever I tell, kids that are asking me questions, and kids these days, I mean, it's like anybody under the age of 30. I feel like an automatic mentor. Like, I just got to tell them everything, right? But if they ask me about college, or if the subject comes up, I tell them, I'm like, look, if you feel like you need to go to college, just understand you're going to college because you want to go to college.
Right.
You're not doing it because you want a successful career. Otherwise, you would get a technical certificate of some sort. Go work on helicopters. Be a welder. That's education that immediately pays off. Mm-hmm. But, like what you're talking about, $50,000 out the gate after all that effort, it's like, why? Why would I do that?
Well, it was real troublesome because I was sitting in this class, and like I said, I learned how to work on pagers. And so the first business I really sort of ran on my own was, I was running one of our slower stores, trying to rehab it. And I asked my brother, I said, hey, do you mind if I run a business out of the back? And so I set up a whole workshop in the back where I was able to supply pagers to all the other stores around Fort Worth back in the day. And so I was making more than that in college. And I'm sitting here going, what? Like,
what am I doing?
And of course, at that age, you're not thinking clearly, right? You're thinking about the wrong things, and you're thinking about, I got to make money. Yeah. And once I make money, I can go do whatever I want. Right. And a lot of times those weren't always the best decisions. Mm. But having fun and making money and, all of that just kind of drove me from, my early teenage, or, I guess my 18-year-old into my early 20s, and trying to figure out, what am I going to do now? And so the opportunity presented that we three brothers sort of teamed up in and around the time I was about 21, and we had a telephone service company, so a landline service company. And so from landline service...
So you're digging the trenches, you're laying the wire?
Not necessarily. It was more like when AT&T deregulated, then they were required to essentially resell us service at a discount. So it was called like an avoided discount. And all that meant was that they knew that they could make money at a lower price because they didn't have to serve the customer, attract the customer, and those kind of things. And so we did that. And so we went from paging into landline telephone. We got an energy license. From an energy license, we also have a wireless company that's still in operation in Dallas. And the catalyst always was my brother. He was the fire starter, right? Mm-hmm. He was the serial entrepreneur. But we quickly learned that the skill I had was I was a really strong leader.
Yeah.
And so I landed in the role of CEO unbeknownst to me, not knowing that I was going to be good at it. But it just really fit. And so, again, he was a really unselfish guy. Unfortunately, he's not with us any longer. We lost him to mental health about a year ago.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
So, but, that's one of the things that, it shapes you, right? And you think to yourself, okay, in your teens, it's all about impressing girls and making money. In your 20s, still a lot of that. And then as you start to get a little older and start to realize what life's really about, then you start to sort of evolve. And so at this stage, like you said, you're 40 and you're engaged, and those things shape you. And so for me, it started to shape me into thinking about other people, and it started to really sort of focus me on others. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, losing my brothers accelerated that for me. Sure. But at the end of the day, we're all here for a short time, and some of us are here for a good time. I've got plenty of those friends, but at the same token, right now, we've just got a ton of people that work for us. I have the coolest company in the world, Payless Power. We have about 125 people, and I would say that the majority of those people, especially that are, in management and whatnot, have been with us 10, 15 years.
And is that all right here in Fort Worth?
It's all right here in Fort Worth.
Damn,
we don't
brother.
outsource or anything.
Good job. 125 people.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything else in your life, that is an incredible accomplishment.
Well,
Taking care of that many people is really something. And I can tell just by talking to your crew that, you're doing something right, because they wouldn't be here if you were a dick. They just wouldn't be.
They'd probably disagree that I'm not entirely a dick. I mean, there's times.
There's a balance, right?
Yeah, can't be too nice, right?
Yeah. So, all right. So you got the energy company going now. You're involved with this 501c. What else keeps your day busy?
Oh man, so we've been able to grow, and thank God. We went through just a whole series of things, and everybody, of course, remembers the big winter storm back in 21 Uri.
Ooh, I got stories. Yeah.
And if you were in the energy business, there were a lot of conversations that were going, are we going to survive this financially? And we were having those conversations, and we really dug in and made the decision that we were going to do whatever it took. And so that grit, I think, just comes from the way we were raised. I've got amazing parents that they never told me no, probably even to my detriment sometimes, but they always believed in us, and they gave us a lot of freedom. And so more importantly, though, they taught us grit, that you don't give up. You don't give up on each other. You don't give up on a dream. You don't throw things away because you're scared. And so being able to do all that and have those opportunities, I think really shaped our business where it is today. And so now we're stronger than ever. We're doing as good as we've ever done, if not better. We're setting records every month, and we're evolving the business to serve a bigger market. We got into a niche market in the energy business, and so we serve the underserved. And our entire idea was...
Can I ask you what you mean by that? You serve the underserved?
Yeah, so we focused initially on prepaid service. And prepaid service, typically the demographic are people that either have poor credit or they're rebuilding their credit.
Can't get energy any other way.
Sure. Or they're just trying to manage their budget. Yeah. And so what we did there is we took a different tact. So many times that I think segment of the market gets taken advantage of, and people try to pull one over on them because they feel like they have no other choice. And so we've done everything we can to try to ensure that our rates are competitive with the big postpaid guys. Postpaid meaning you get a bill once a month. Right. You have to have good credit. Yeah. And so we've tried to ensure that we do everything we can to be competitive in rates, and that we don't have fees that cannot be avoided or unavoidable fees. And so that was just real important to me, and make things simple. That's the thing about electricity and electricity services. Most people have no clue what they're paying. Then when they go to look and try to find a new company, it's very complicated, or there's misleading advertisings. And so we're really trying to cut through that as a company and do the right thing for people.
How about the practice? And I've realized this about 3 years after it started to bite me in the ass, but I just didn't know what was going on. So I don't know that this is still going on, but for a long time, you could select any energy company you wanted, and 12 months later, if you didn't switch companies, they would increase your rates. Is that still happening, or am I misremembering that? Is that a regular practice?
No, it's absolutely a regular practice. I would say that's one piece of it. There's more nefarious things, I think, that exist too. But so, I kind of like break up the market into three parts, right? There's one game, which is attract people with low rates, and then when they're not looking, you sucker punch them, like what you're talking about, and raise the rates on a variable. And so when somebody signs, let's say, a 12-month contract, they get notice that they either need to renew the contract or they're going to be reverted to a month-to-month offer. The difference is how companies treat people when they go to the month-to-month. And so what we try to do different is, whatever we were making profit-wise here, well, we had you for 12 months. Why would we just jack you around, on the 13th month just to try to get you while you're not looking?
Yeah.
So to me, that's a short-term win and, long-term loss.
It should be illegal, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It's one of those things you got to have, and I think that in industries where you don't have a choice but to pay for it, you kind of get screwed around a little bit. But it sounds like you guys have a pretty good scope of morality mixed into your rates.
Yeah, it's right in, it's right into our mission statement. It's right in our values. Integrity is one of our key values. So it's fun. most people go, really, a business that has fun and their 5 key values?
How do you do that? Don't tell me pizza every Tuesday.
This is one of those things that you probably should ask my employees how we have fun. And
all right.
Now we got to get back to having some of these parties, but we used to have some really great parties.
Somebody come pick up this mic and tell me about these parties. I need you to over here right now. Come on.
All right, we did have a party at Trophy Ranch, and that was the last time we ever had a party at that I picked the venue.
Where's Trophy Ranch?
Well, it's right now El Chingon. So,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They shut down.
And what did you do to get your whole group banned?
So, legally, I can't say most of it, but we did have people there, and then there's people have invited other people who shouldn't have been there, like they were the significant others and friends. I don't know how much of this I should share, but
go. Just say all of it.
So then we had people going out the back door and just trying to cover up for that. And then luckily the TBC was cool, and he's like, just make sure they leave. And then we had people.
All right, now we sound like a bunch of degenerates.
It's looking pretty bad, but
yeah.
I tell you what, Johan, will you give the microphone to somebody that can tell us about the core value fun at your company?
Oh yeah, fun culture. Yeah, that's not me.
Okay. Come on, find somebody. You can do it. Don't be shy.
Oh, I actually I do have a question. When's the next party? Because it's been a long time since there's been a party.
We were talking about that. So COVID, and everybody blames everything on COVID, but COVID threw us for a loop, and the last few years, that combined with Uri, the winter storm I was talking about earlier, really threw our business for a loop. And so we were just talking about that. In our business, my beautiful wife, Allie, she's the party planner, and so she throws these crazy, great parties. I mean, we've had parties at the Dallas Aquarium. We've had parties at the Fort Worth Modern Art Museum. I mean, these amazing evenings where you get
put
to go
together.
around.
She does a lot of planning.
Yeah. So, the Fort Worth Modern, I mean, we had the casino night going, and we did one down in the stockyards one time. We did a casino night, but it was flappers, and everybody was walking around in the 1920 and 30s outfits, having a good time. Not everybody was throwing up, like Johan said. But it's been known to get a little out of hand from time to time. And then, of course, back in the office itself, I mean, like Jason said, we've got a couple of pool tables. We've got a video arcade, an air hockey. We want to make sure we make a good impression. And so we get people up there and try to get them mixing together and, taking their lunchtime and talking with one another and just getting to know each other over, a friendly game of pool or a friendly game of dominoes or something like that. And so we do things like that. And then, all the general things where we're, recognizing people and trying to remember, their important dates. I mean, like every good company should. And so, but I think it's just more really it's about the morale. I think everybody up there feels like, like they're part of the family or their friends. I mean, hell, half of them are. If I went around just like the executive and the management team, like I said, most of those guys have been there for like 10 or 15 years. And so recently we had a gentleman in town, his name is Mark Atkins, and he's a consultant working for us. And he literally said to me over dinner one night, he goes, "Dude, you got the coolest company." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "You come to work every day, your cousin, another cousin, your brother-in-law, your brother, right? Dude you knew since you were 7 as your CIO. He's like, all these people have been here for 10 or 15 years. They probably know everything about you and your brothers and your family, and some of them have been there longer. I mean, like Branson, I've known him. He's worked with me in some form or fashion for like 22 years, and so it's a really cool feeling to walk into that.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest metrics whenever you're talking to somebody about the success of their business and like the culture that they're working around with their employees is like, well, what's your turnover rate?
Yeah.
Are people sticking around? Because if not, you got a problem. And it just dawned on me sitting here talking to him. I'm like, oh, of course you guys clammed up. You're the freaking CEO of the company. Well, I've dealt with a lot of business people over the last 5 years, and I can tell you what, this guy's about as laid back as they come. So you guys, I feel like the impression I'm getting is you guys can pretty much get away with murder right now. You can say whatever you want on that microphone.
Probably
Hey, bingo.
Damn, Tommy Luke. Get out of here. You're fired.
But Brandon, how many lunches does Jason owe you now for playing pool?
I think we're up to about 12.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess the drink today, or 2 drinks today, brought us down to 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we like to get going on the pool table, and Jason he'll win a game and start feeling real confident and start throwing around, you want to bet a lunch? I'm like, you're damn right I want to bet a lunch. Then I just kick his ass. No mercy. It's
Well,
like
I
Cobra Kai.
appreciate the hell out of you guys being here tonight. Go ahead and give yourself a big round of applause. Thank y'all so much. What'd she say?
I have no idea.
What'd she say? Talk in the mic. No, what's she yelling? I can't hear it. Use the microphone. I can't hear you either.
Go Payless Power?
Go Payless Power. Oh, okay, okay.
En español, por favor.
I don't even know.
I'm sorry, I only speak German. Where can people find information?
So our website is paylesspower.com. We make it real easy. 3-4 minutes online could save you 15% on your insurance.
Well, and the cool
Geico
thing
plug-in.
is you guys are local.
We are local, so
And that's what we're all about. We're always trying to promote local stuff because the dollar that you spend is you voting. Who do you want to survive? And not only that, but a dollar spent in your community goes back into your community.
absolutely.
You guys are employing 125 people. That's exceptional.
So an interesting thing we learned is early on we actually did try a little bit of outsourcing. Once was out of the country, another time was in a call center in Richardson. And I
Now,
remember,
what do you mean by outsourcing? How do you do that?
So we contracted with a call center that would, handle our
call
calls
centers.
and whatnot.
Okay.
And I remember when I was asked to step into the role I'm in now, one of the first things I said was, I got to get control of the call center. That's the
Yeah.
most important place that we have. That's who is, front and center with our customers. And so I sat down and just thought about it for a while, and I was like, there's no way that anybody out of this country or out of this area is going to do a better job than Texans. And so that was the best decision that we ever made as a company, was hiring Texans for Texans and sticking with it. No matter how many times somebody tempts you with, oh, we can save you this or we can save you that. It's like, no.
We're good.
I'll take the American workforce, the Texan workforce, because we kick ass.
Yeah. And so when somebody calls your company, they're getting somebody in their backyard.
That's right.
Hell yeah. Okay. Are you guys heavy players on the social medias? Do you have accounts there?
We do. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, even TikTok a little bit. So
Excellent.
we're on all of
Excellent.
them. In fact, if people become a customer and they go find us on Facebook, we give $100 away every week in free electricity just for reading our blog and answering a question, and hopefully you get chosen. And so that's something that we've been doing since the beginning, just to try to get some engagement and talking about the nature of electricity. Electricity's boring, right?
It is until it becomes a problem. Then it's not boring. It's like the only thing you can think about.
Yeah, I mean, when the power goes out, everybody's up in arms. But until then, I mean,
Yeah, it's
people
in the
are
background.
like 10 cents, 15 cents. I don't know what the hell that means, right?
Yeah.
It's just boring. It's like, I want the lights to come on. What makes us special is, we were talking about this. I was just talking about this today with a friend of mine, Nick, who's a partner, and we were talking. He said, man, you sell 2 things. One is you send them a bill and you get money for electricity. He said, but more importantly, you're selling how easy it is. It's so easy to sign up. It's so easy to go pay your bill. It's so easy to deal with service. It's easy to talk to your employees. That's hard to do. That's what we learned, is that was really hard to do
Yeah.
and get it right. And so we want to be really, truly disruptive. This is a market of about 7 million residential customers. We got 55,000 customers, and we're ready to take on those big guys. That's you, Reliant and TXU. We're coming for you.
Amen. Well, I've worked with both of those and not a fan of either. And they are the ones that played those games with me where if I wasn't paying attention, all of a sudden my bill would just go through the roof. And I'm like, what's going on? And you look into it and you're like, oh, that's shit. That is absolute shit.
Yeah, here's a fun fact. Those guys, they play the long game, right? They're big, they got a lot of money, and they either wait for companies to get in trouble and they buy them cheap, or they go out of business. Here's the fun fact. 80% of everybody in this room and in this state is being served by those 2 companies still, whether it's one brand or another. So it's real important to do your research, and this thing's become a little bit of a math equation. The products I hate the most, we call them bullseye plans. I call them bullshit plans. And the reality is that they set them up. And so when you come to my website, you get an honest answer. When you go to, let's say, another company, I'm not going to name anybody and get in trouble here, but you go to another website and you plug in a zip code, and you see that they're offering something that's 11 or 12 cents. And I will tell you, that's like at our cost. How could they be making any money? They're not doing that. What they're doing is they're selling you a plan that when they get their fancy math put together, it's really going to be quite a bit higher.
Yeah.
And so what they found, what studies done by companies like EnergyBot and some of these other websites have put together, they've shown that these bill credit or bullshit plans actually cost people money. So one of my big things is I want to get out and I want to educate the public about how to buy electricity. And it is a pain, but it's not that hard, especially if you find a company that's being straightforward. And the most important thing is that you open up a document called the electricity facts label and you read it. Like, that's the most important thing you can do. And then all of a sudden it becomes very clear.
That's excellent, man. Yeah, it's something that you got to have. You're not going to be able to live without it, unfortunately, if you're living in the city. Now, if you're out in Terlingua, maybe you farm your own sunlight and you have a mule pull a big sprocket and generate your own electricity. But here in the city, you got to have a provider. Absolutely. And so why not use somebody local?
Well, that would be the hope. I mean, we serve all of Texas, so the way Texas works is pretty much the majority of it is deregulated, which means you have a choice. The areas that are not deregulated, the big areas are El Paso, San Antonio, and Austin. So unfortunately, we can't serve those guys. But all of Houston and the surrounding areas, all of Dallas, Fort Worth, and the surrounding areas, I mean, we serve, like I said, we serve 7 million households, roughly almost, 20 million people. So
you're rooting for that express rail line to get completed from DFW down to Houston, aren't you?
You want to take a bet if that gets done?
Oh, it'll never happen.
Never happen.
I don't know. I've given up hope.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know what we're talking about, check that out. A DFW to Houston high-speed rail, if you haven't heard about it. It's been a conversation for about 30 years, and, yeah, doesn't look good.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Well, Brandon, thank you for being on the show, brother.
You bet.
We'd love to get you back.
Yeah, it'd be
anytime.
great.
And next time you guys want to throw a wild-ass party, and if your friends want to throw up, just make sure they do it outside.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think, certain people need to be given a little knapsack they can carry around, right? Apparently, I don't know. Maybe that's when we'll invite you back. It's for the party. That way you can see firsthand.
You guys stay tuned or stay here with us at McFly's. We're going to do a drawing for Billy Bob's tickets, and then we got Tommy Luke with his open mic. It's Tommy Luke and Dippy Dog, by the way. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we will be right back here next Tuesday with another excellent guest that is doing something to improve or maintain the quality of life we got here in Fort Worth Roots, or Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, something like that. Okay, we'll see you guys. Thank you. Absolutely. Out of respect for the innocent, some things were edited out of this episode. It got a little rambunctious, especially when Tommy Luke walked in and started shouting explicit language. Daggum you, Tommy Luke. Daggum you. Brandon, thank you so much for being on the show, and to your entire group of people out there. That was a fun group, and we'd love to see you out next Tuesday. I have no idea how far of a drive that was for everybody, but we really do appreciate it. It's a great episode, good recording, and, I have to sit there and edit these things. So I got to have the conversation with you twice. And I am a big fan of what you guys are doing out there. Small enough to still not be one of those big corporate entities that has forgotten about their people and their neighbors. So I'm here for it. And seriously, and going through their website and just kind of verifying some of the stuff that we talked about. And everything that Brandon said in this episode is verifiable. So check that out, paylesspower.com, and it's the same on all their social media sites. Excellent episode. Like I said, I guess I said that a few times. I was having fun. I was having too much fun. In fact, some of the edits were me. I had to edit myself out a couple times. But great stuff. Yeah, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you can join us out there. Next week, we've got Darren Houck, who is the mayor of River Oaks, and he's going to be out there with us just catching up. Me and Darren, we've been friends for years now, and I just looked up, and months had gone by since we've had this dude on the show. So that's going to be fun. Tuesday, 5 o'clock, be there. All right. If you guys don't know, we do a morning show. We put out 5 episodes a week minimum. I left my career about 8 months ago so that I could be a full-time podcaster for you. And yeah, it's what I want to be doing, but there's a goal here. I want to help the community. I want to be a part of a bigger picture, and we're doing everything we can to improve the community around us. So hope you guys can get behind that. I said 5 episodes, but some weeks we are putting 9 episodes out. It gets excessive, but I love what I'm doing. And I want you guys to know that if you have anything going on, whether you're an author, a musician, an event coordinator of any kind, or whatever, if you've got something going on in or around the city of Fort Worth, as far west as Weatherford, as far east as Grand Prairie, as far north as Denton, or as far south as Burleson, we want to help you get that information out there. Our morning show is just for that. Our regular episodes, those are for our sponsors. But the morning show, you guys are able to call in, 817-988-1292. That will be in the show notes. Or you can email an audio clip talking about your event, and that's actually the best way to do it. Sounds way better. And we will play it on the show. Doesn't cost you anything, and it's a great way to reach out. We interact with 150,000 accounts on average. Sometimes it's as high as 170. Sometimes it's as low as 100,000. But on average, 150,000 across the board. Those are the people that you can connect with. So just call in and let us help tell the public about your event. I keep saying call in. I really want you to send an audio clip through email because that's when it sounds best. You can also just pull us up on Instagram and use the messaging application, whatever, through Instagram and hit the little microphone and leave us an audio clip through that, and we can play that just as easily. So whatever works for you, man. And if that's all too much, you can just call us and leave a message, and we'll play that on the show. All right, let's get into these sponsors real quick. Donovan Manufacturing. I was out there with those homies today out at Hicks Airfield doing another recording. Make sure you look for the red shield and the dagger and serpent on that black backdrop. Those are Donovan Manufacturing episodes. And I'm actually going with them down to the ranch in Dilley, Texas next weekend to fire fully automatic machine guns. I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't done that since I left the Army. Donovan Manufacturing. DonovanMFG.com. Night vision, thermals, machine gun rentals, AR-15 parts, classes, and more. And they'll work with anybody. You don't have to be a government agency, but they do a lot of this to help facilitate training needs for local law enforcement. So anyway, they're here for you. It's a service. Check them out. Also, under the same umbrella, get all of your print needs through our friends, banners, vehicle wraps, business cards, brochures, T-shirts, and anything else you might need. Find information on the print shop on Facebook at Dillon-Press. Also, just email them, Dillon@Dillon-Press.com. Purple Web Consulting, purplewebconsulting.com, building our website. Yeah, I know you guys have heard me talking about this. I've just had a hell of a time sitting back down with Jeff to get the website finished. He just needs a few details from me. The thing is ready to launch, but it's got a crystal clear presentation of all of our sponsors with their icons, their logos. You can click on it. It takes you right to them. And it looks really fresh. And I'm looking forward to that. I just got to sit down with them for maybe an hour or two, and we're ready to go. But Purple Web Consulting definitely knows what he's doing. Website design, hosting, e-commerce integration, digital strategy. Phone number is 817-629-6069, making modern business tools accessible to the small business owners so that they can compete with the big dogs. Woof, woof. Fort Worth Float Company. Is your day filled with noise and distractions, overstimulating sounds and activity? Our daily lives have become overwhelmed with tasks and responsibilities, with very few ways to shut off the world for a brief moment. Welcome to Fort Worth Float Company. They specialize in providing sensory deprivation flotation tanks, providing the ultimate relaxation experience, offering various pricing and packages and 3 different tanks. Fort Worth Float Company meets everyone's floating needs. I want you to go to our Instagram page and click on our, Linktree thingy? We have 2 offers in there from Fort Worth Float Company, and they are exclusive for new customers that listen to the Fort Worth Roots podcast. That's there. You should click on it. Go check this place out. They've got the cold plunge tanks, infrared saunas, and the deprivation tanks are really exceptional. If you've never done that, I suggest you give it a shot. Hoppin', located on Weisenberger Street. No more waiting for the bartender. Simply walk up to the wall of taps, scan your armband, and enjoy. This place charges you by the ounce. A great place to unwind for your next big event or for your next big event. Find them on Instagram as Hoppin' FWTX. Have a Fort Worth event coming up this week. Call during our Call during our recording window and let us share it. I was telling you about this. 817-988-1292. We still do the morning show out there at Hoppin'. The Davis team, look no further than our friends at the Davis team for all of your property needs. No commitment necessary. If you have questions about property, then visit them online, yourdavesteam.com, or give them a call, 817-755-0504. These guys are the answer. If you are trying to buy or sell a home, we found the best team in town. It's 13 full-time agents committed to selling your property for what it's worth. Get every penny that it's worth. Also, if you're trying to buy property, excellent. These guys are bulldogs. They have they have helped me sell my last 2 properties, and they helped me buy the property that we're currently at now. So anyway, it's the Davis team. And all this information, by the way, is in the show notes. Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf is dedicated to promoting disc golf to the masses for its health benefits through outdoor therapy, exercise, and camaraderie. Find them on Facebook as Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf. GalaxyWildernessDG@gmail.com is their email, and 682-228-0399. They will bring you the entire disc golf course, set it up, and then when you're done with it, come back and break it down. They got the putters, the drivers, and glow-in-the-dark frisbee thingies, and then LED baskets, so you can do night disc golf if your ankles are ready for that. The Body Scrubbery on Instagram as The Body Scrubbery, online at thebodyscrubbery.com. Phone number is 925-808-8222. Mother's Day is this weekend. Did you forget? Well, the Body Scrubbery has gift certificates, and this is the best place to relax. So get your boutique and unique spa experience on. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Luxury foot spa, full body scrubs, infrared heat wraps, massage, bubble tubs, mud wraps, facials, couples packages, and small group parties. All at the Body Scrubbery, located on Pennsylvania Avenue. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. Listen, this weekend, they are putting on an event out there at the Burgers Lake. You ever been to Burgers Lake? Listen to me. I won't touch the water, but it is still a really cool little area. It's a great little park, surrounded by big, tall, old, established trees, and it's a great spot for an event. I'm not touching that water, though, I'll tell you what. Anyway, Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. The City of River Oaks, I don't know who all is involved with this thing, but it is the River Oaks Springfest Car Show, and it is going down Saturday, the 10th. Free admission, and there's going to be, I think, 150 classic cars, vendor booths, food trucks, all sorts of stuff. So if you're looking for something else to do with Mama after you buy her that gift certificate to the Body Scrubbery, take her on out to the River Oaks Springfest Car Show. I believe this is year 4. I've never missed a year, and I was going to miss it, and then they had to reschedule it, and now I don't have to miss it. So I'm excited about that. McFly's Pub, 6104 LTJG Barnett Road. Don't try to remember that weird address. Just put it into your Google thingy or your Waze or Apple Maps or whatever you use. McFly's Pub is a badass little 1980s Back to the Future themed bar with an excellent outdoor patio, complete with fire pit and room for your fur baby. Daily drink specials and fun activities almost every day of the week. See what's new at McFly's on their Instagram page at McFly's Pub. And listen, if you'll come out and get there early, like as I'm setting up for our Tuesday night, I believe they open at 3 or 4. I'd have to look this up. I think it's 3. I think they open at 3. Anyway, get there for the first hour. That's power hour. Their drinks are stupid cheap. And then until 7 o'clock, it's happy hour. So drink specials, drink specials, drink specials. Tuesday night, don't miss it. 5 o'clock, we're going to have the mayor of River Oaks out there. It's going to be fun. Tres Amigos, tacos, and tequila. Chef Sandy brings a fresh perspective and culinary expertise to Tres Amigos, continuing the spirit of female-led entrepreneurship and the culinary excellence that Chef Paul was known for. 909 West Magnolia Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, 76104. The bar is insane. It's like the length of a football field. So they got that bar, but they also have really, really good, guilty pleasures. Their food is excellent. So make sure you swing by. It's on Magnolia Avenue, and tell Sandy hi when you get there. Tres Amigos, tacos, and tequila. Cloudland Recording Studio. That's our buddy Joe Tacky out there doing the magic. It's a analog and digital recording studio located in the heart of Fort Worth. just 1 mile from downtown and 5 minutes from near Southside Entertainment District on Magnolia Avenue, off of Magnolia Avenue. There's a typo there. Somebody needs to fix that. Find them online at cloudlandrecordingstudios.com. That's all of it. We got through all the sponsors. Listen, if you are interested in sponsoring the show, we're here for it. And actually, today, while doing this recording and just listening to a powerful business person that has his head on straight and also following their own set of morality, their rules, their code of ethics. Anyway, I had this idea, and I really want to talk to somebody about it. We're going to be looking for 6 more companies that want to get on board with Fort Worth Roots, and it's going to be like with Donovan. But there's organizations out there, 501c and things of that nature inside that kind of realm. They can't afford to pay Fort Worth Roots to do what we do, but they would definitely let a company that wanted to sponsor 501c episodes take care of that for them. And I think that would be a highly advantageous advertising avenue for any large company. So we're going to be reaching out to folks pretty soon, like tomorrow, and trying to see if we can rustle something up. So instead of a 501c paying for recordings, you get a sponsor, one of the larger companies that can afford advertising, and you put their name all over it, and then you bring in a bunch of 501cs to talk about what they're doing to strengthen our community. And in return, Fort Worth Roots gets to put out more episodes for you guys. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put more episodes out. Nine episodes a week is not enough. That's only happened once. But we're going to try to work that into a regular schedule. Yeah. Pray for me. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I really would love to see you next Tuesday. Okay. I said that a few times, right? Brandon, excellent guest. And we hope to do it again with you real soon. Thank y'all so much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.